Hey, welcome back to the Roman Lorenzo channel, and here today, I have a new installment in the Years Later series. I have Toy Story 3, the video game, 14 years later. And so, without further ado, let's get into the review. Toy Story 3 was a successful movie that was part of a successful film franchise, and it was the 2010s when movie tie-in games were used commonly. And not to mention the fact that the Toy Story franchise had not been unknown to the tie-in game genre, having 6 Toy Story related games at the time. So, it should come as no surprise when on the same day as the movie came out, there was a tie-in game to go with it. And that is what I am here to review today, Toy Story 3, the video game. Toy Story 3 video game story loosely adapts the movie story. The game was made in the way of if someone was to play the game, they would not get that spoiled of the movie. Of course, when you play a movie tie-in game, it will spoil something, but this game was a rare occasion where not much was spoiled. They did this by having the story be similar, whilst at the same time having it be quite different to the movie. Anyways, to focus on the game. The game has 8 levels that consists of about 2 to 3 hours of gameplay, and this is a quick skim through all the levels. Locomotives is a train chase turned into a run to the front of the train saving orphans on the way to save them from the evil Dr. Porkchop. Hold the Phone is a level where Buzz, Woody, and Jessie have to obtain the phone from Andy's room and in the basement, as one last attempt at getting Andy to play with them. To Infinity and Beyond is Buzz Lightyear chasing Zurg, and because of a meteor, the lands become shattered, leaving Buzz to parkour his way into Zurg's base. And once in there, he must face a variety of challenges leading up to his battle with Zurg. Fair Play is a semi-open zone where you are in Sunnyside Daycare, and you need to complete a set of challenges that Lotso and his friends have set up. Which Way Out is a level where you need to parkour away from Coffee and then attempt to activate a spaceship to fly away from an evil witch. Hide and Sneak is a level where Woody and Jessie have to save Rex, Ham, and Slinky from Buzz and Lotso's gang. Trash Thrash is a level where Buzz, Woody, and Jessie have to save Rex, Ham, Slinky, and aliens from being burnt, crushed, and grinded and thrown into a garbage depot. And finally, Muffin to Fear is a level where muffins want to eat people and the evil witch and evil Dr. Porkchop are going to get married, and it is a toy shop to stop it.
I, Mayor Ham, hereby make you the Sheriff of Woody's Roundup. Congratulations! You're now in charge of bringing order and prosperity to our town. Oh, bring in some gold and new toys to spruce up the place.
The Toy Story game needed something special, and they found that right here. The toy box was made to, in a way, emulate the feeling of Andy playing with his toys. They made this feeling by adding handles on top of some buildings and grooves meant to open up some of the other buildings. And the aesthetic choice worked great, and helped to keep the world feel more alive. Anyways, for characters, you can select between Buzz, Woody, and Jessie, with none of them having any different abilities to their names, unlike in the story, where each character had their own thing. Buzz had the ability to glide and throw the other toys farther. Woody had the ability to use his voice box to throw himself across areas, and Jessie had the ability to jump on darts to climb. But they undermined this by giving the toys a couple of tools to use. For an example, early in the game you get a pickaxe which allows you to mine gold and obtain a few coins. There is a camera that you get which allows you to take photos for certain missions. There is a Pictomatic which gives you missions like make 3 townspeople look like barbers. There is a toolbox which allows you to change the look of buildings, and finally there are 3 different weapons that you get that are attached to 3 levels. One of which you get in Lotso's Enchanted Glen, where you get a pixie wand, and in that mission you save some people from being caterpillars. You go and get a pixie killing dragon, and you defeat pixies to escape from a giant tree. The second of those missions is the spaceport. The weapon you get from this mission is a blaster, and you need to use it to escape Zurg's prison, and power up the teleporter to return home. And the final mission is Sid's Haunted House, where you get trapped in a haunted house, and you need to use a lightning rod to propel ghosts and gargoyles away from you. Later, you find out that to escape, you need to help a mad scientist complete his Frankenstein monster. And those were the 3 missions, but you don't get those levels right away. You first need to buy them from the shop, and in that shop, there are many more things, including townspeople, buildings, bullseye, cars, and stunt tracks. With bullseye and the cars, you can do checkpoint races all around the map. With bullseye, you can enter bullseye's racetrack, where you can do a few more checkpoint races. With the car, you can enter a couple of stunt tracks, where you can do a few flips and tricks and just have a bit of fun. Now, the main story in the game is a pretty close copy to the movie story, but the toy box has a unique story that goes as follows. You are appointed Sheriff of the Wild West by Mayor Ham, and as Sheriff, you have to help the townspeople with their missions. But most importantly, you need to help the Mayor, and the Mayor has you help out Slinky at his farm by building a barn and helping out with the cows and the crops, and has you help out Bo Peep at the beach by helping her build schools, candy shops, the post office, and etc. to help Mayor Ham expand the town. You also help Mayor Ham with finding treasure, and help him in his political campaign against the bandits, in which the bandits kidnap Mayor Ham, and it is your job to save him, which means you head over to the bandits' hideout and bomb them, to save the mayor of course. And then in a surprise twist, the mayor turns out to be Mr. Evil Dr. Porkchop, and is robbing the bank for all it's worth, so you need to blow him up, never to be seen again. Okay, the story is fun and all, but a main part of this game is customization. You can not only customize buildings, but you can also customize townspeople, either for pictomatic missions, which I touched on earlier, missions given to you by other characters, or for personal use. The customization system is very simple. Just head to either a hat shop, a tailor shop, or a barber shop, then throw the townsperson in, and you get thrown into a menu that is organized by hats, haircuts, and suits, making it simple to find out what to do in it. Although you start out with a few customization options early on, the game expects you to find toy capsules that are hidden all around the map. And inside those toy capsules are many different customization options, spanning from pirates, cowboys, undead creatures, and even other Pixar related characters, like The Incredibles, Finding Nemo, and WALL-E. Okay, so although everything that I have mentioned so far is nice and all, a good game is nothing without good gameplay. The Toy Story game needed pretty good gameplay, and had done just that. It follows the movie tie-in game trope of making it a platformer, but unlike most movie tie-in games, this game has a couple of other elements like third-person shooting and racing, and the game handles these elements well. The platforming is pretty basic, but is made well enough that it kept me engaged throughout the game. The third-person shooting is also pretty basic, but not as basic as the platforming. I say this because of the different weapons that you can use. The first one is Zurg's Blaster, the most commonly used weapon in the game, appearing in both some levels in the story and the toy box, unlike the other two weapons. And it is just like a regular gun, it can shoot and works well. Next of all is the lightning rod, which can only be obtained in the toy box in Sid's haunted house, and works a little bit differently from Zurg's Blaster. Zurg's Blaster can be shot at rapid fire, whilst the lightning rod cannot. And finally, there is a Pixie Wand, and this one is only obtained in Lotso's Enchanted Glen. And the Pixie Wand is the most different weapon of the three. The Pixie Wand cannot be used long range. You have to get the enemy inside the rainbow effect that leaves the wand to take your enemy down. And the final gameplay type is racing. And in racing, there are two different things that you can do: checkpoint races and stunt tracks. Checkpoint races are fairly simple. Just get on your car/horse and follow the path. On the other hand, the stunts are a little bit more creative in this game. The game has two different types of parks for you to play at. The first one is the skate park, which has a few flips and tricks to do. And secondly, there's the stunt park, which has a bunch of different jumps to do, and a few races inside of it, which Avalanche Software had later gone and used some aspects for in the Cars 2 and 3 movie tie-in games, and Disney Infinity. Anyways, as you may know, movie tie-in games tend to have a lot of glitches, and this one is sadly no different. Now, although the game is fun to play, it also follows the movie tie-in game trope of feeling partially unfinished, with a good few amount of glitches. Now, as all glitches go, there are the funny glitches, and then there are the bad glitches. One of the funny glitches is the blue hell glitch, which is in the game. All you need to do is hold the camera in the toy box and have a second player pick you up. And then, your game character has lost his hitbox, and you can freely walk around things like walls and other objects that should have collision. And you could see things like where the game puts the well system, and more importantly, you get to see where the game hides things like the horseshoe checkpoint races, chests, and wells. Another funny glitch are the few visual glitches that can appear. There is one visual glitch in the Sunnyside Daycare mission, where there is a big blue rectangle that pops up, blocking part of your screen. Another visual glitch comes in the Haunted Bakery mission, and comes in the form of making a red effect around the buildings. And finally, this glitch happens in the toy box, where this guy bought the Xbox 360 version of the game and played it on the Xbox One. And every time he would go in the car in the main area of the toy box, Stinky Pete would look black with red eyes. It is an interesting glitch, but definitely creepy. But sadly, with all funny glitches, there are also some bad glitches. In one of those bad glitches, I was playing Which Way Out, and I had to transport a battery to the other side of the laser fence. And I had failed, and the battery had not respawned, making me have to reset the level. But that is not the worst glitch in the game. There was another glitch that had happened to me. Basically, the game had one day glitched and removed features like the toolbox, the camera, the Pictomatic, and the pickaxe, making me unable to use any of those tools for the rest of the toy box. But this is still not the worst glitch in the game. The worst glitch in the game by far happens in the toy box, where what could happen is that you could go and do an in-game achievement and it will not count what you did in the game for that achievement, even though you did it. And if you try to do that in-game achievement again, it will not count it. The reason this is the worst glitch is simply because if this happens to you, and it was a pretty common glitch, you will lose the ability to obtain 100% completion of the game on that save. But now, it is time to sidetrack from the negative and go to the positive, with the music. To say, the music in this game is amazing. In my opinion, this soundtrack is the best video game soundtrack of all time. Let me separate it up to the toy box and the story. The story part of the soundtrack mainly consists of songs from the To Infinity and Beyond mission, but has good songs all around, like a few western and space songs. And for the toy box, this is where my favorite songs are. I love almost all of these songs. And in the toy box, the songs are mostly westerns, with a few horror songs, a couple of space songs, like the ones from the story, and a few enchanted songs. Now, before I end, I have a few bonus entries that I would like to add. First bonus entry is Al's Toy Barn. Essentially, the coin capsules that you collect all throughout the story are actually spendable in Al's Toy Barn, where you can unlock coins for the toy box, and even cooler, you can unlock actual character parts that you can use in the customizer. Then, another thing you can see from Al's Toy Barn is all the toy box characters that you have unlocked from playing the story, including townspersons of Buzz, Woody, and Jessie, and a few other alien skins. And the last thing at Al's Toy Barn is an aisle where you get to see all the collectibles that you have collected throughout the story. The next bonus entry is a very simple thing. In the game, there is a movie theater that allows you to see all the cutscenes that have popped up both in the story and in the toy box. The third bonus entry is the paratroopers, which appear in both the story and in the toy box. In the story, they are used in the hold the phone level, and they are used to help the toys to grab the phone in the basement. And in the toy box, the paratroopers are used for a couple of gliding missions that can be found all throughout the world. The fourth bonus entry is a crime system that appears in two different ways, in the form of an invasion or in the form of a bank robbery. The invasion happens every once in a while after you've purchased at least one of the 3 levels in the toy box. Because when you purchase one of the levels, it opens up the gate to that area, which leaves the town exposed to an invasion. One unique thing about the invasion is that the 3 different enemy types will do 3 different things to the town. The Zergbots will just shoot at the townspeople, the Pixies will try to turn all the townspeople into caterpillars, and finally, the Gargoyles will try to turn the entire town into stone. The second of the crime systems are bank robberies. Bank robberies happen every once in a while and are pretty interesting. The reason I say this is because of the different colored bandits that can appear. There is a red one, an orange one, and a green one. There is a sizable reward for their capture, but when you arrest one of them, there is a high likelihood of a prison break in which you will need to catch them back, or else they will be on the loose. The fifth bonus entry is goo. Goo appears in the toy box and is purchased from the shop. When you purchase it, a goo spawning point is dropped on a few areas, and that goo spawning point can give you 2 different colored goos. The first one is a pink goo, which allows you to shrink things, and then there is a green goo, which allows you to grow things. Now what do I mean about things? I mean things like cars, horses, and townspeople, and you can also use the goo to interact with the environment. What I mean is you can also use the goo on gold that is around the map. Typically, when you mine gold, you will get 150 coins, but if you use the pink goo, it will go down to 75 coins, and if you use the green goo, it will go up to 300 coins. And finally, the last bonus entry is Zerg. Zerg was a PS3 exclusive character for the toy box, and you could buy his character from the shop, and then go and play around with him. Zerg has custom missions specifically meant for him, along with Zerg's very own car that you could take to both the skate park and the stunt park. He is a really cool character to play with, having his arm shoot out the Pixar balls. He was a really fun addition.
You haven't seen the last of the evil Dr. Porkchop.
Toy Story 3, in my opinion, is a masterpiece of a game, and if you have yet to play this game, it would be an instant recommendation. Even though the game can be pretty glitchy at times, for me, it is easy to look past this, because, with this game, it was never about the 100%, or about the final destination at all. It was always about the journey. Hi, thanks for sticking around to the end of this video. This video took a long time to make, so subscribing would be highly appreciated. Special thanks to Mr. Bones for editing this video. If you have any suggestions for future videos, let me know in the comments. And I guess that's all I've got. Bye.